Peace. What's up, everybody? It's your man DVS Mod. Give me 2 seconds. Thought that was... Hi. What's up? Give y'all a couple of minutes to come in and relax. Try not to show the name brand, but I'm not doing a good job. Hey, Yvette. Hey, Vaughn. Yvette. Yvette's not here yet. So what's up? So first of all, good evening to everybody. I want to say belated happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, all the aunts, all the godmothers. I just got an amazing opportunity to visit with my great nephew, Amari. I'm going to post his pictures a little bit later. And I hope you guys had a wonderful time in spite of everything that is going on. I know that, everybody wishes that they could be out and about with their families, but we got to do what we got to do so that we can make sure that we have families, that, everybody is all right. What's up, Shonda? How you doing, baby? It's always good to see you. Yo, you be rocking, yo. Can I just say that? Oh, you be rocking? I like to big up my friends. So in the spirit of that, actually, I want to, before we get, what's up, Kit Kat? Before we get started, I want to say what's up to some people who are doing some business and some things. First of all, before anything, Atiba posted today, and I'm only reposting it because she posted it, that she is cancer-free. So everybody who has been watching my baby's journey, she is cancer-free. She got the news from her oncologist. They called her today, so that is amazing. Y'all can make it go up right there. Yeah, I need more hearts than that. Come on, y'all. I need y'all participation. I moved it a little bit. What's up, Shumaka? God, this bitch in here. Tamara. I'm going to try to do the show anyway. So anyway, everybody just ignored her. Act like she's not even here. Tamara. My damn phone started updating. See? I told you. See what happens? Don't be trying to clock my time. You know what we talked about. So anyway, congratulations to Atiba. I want to say congratulations that you, the whole tribe, the boss vibes, the boss move, you did your thing to the higher power that you trusted to guide you through this journey. All praises. That's what's up. I also need to send a shout out to my humble family because I miss y'all. We should have been humbling. So shout out to my humble family because I miss y'all. Treehouse Entertainment. If you need food, if you are somebody who is not able to get food, or somebody who does not have money, look for Treehouse Entertainment on Facebook. They are in the Vailsburg area, and they are giving away food often, like once or twice a week whenever they have it. So please look for them if you are in need of food. Hey, Slim Goody Grant, my baby. Hey, how you doing? Your sexy self. Marcelyn Hayes, she's doing the masks. Also, Deborah Lloyd, Mahogany Brown is doing the mask. Sweetie, but it's Ramadan, so check with her. You inbox her to see if she's doing masks right now. Kevin Hedge, look out for him on YouTube. He is going to be doing a banger again. I think it's part 3 now on YouTube. There were some issues before, but make sure that you keep it locked because they're working out that, Kevin Hedge is old school. So this is a new, doing things live is a different situation. So, kind of muddling, getting through that is different. And, we all walk with him because that last situation that they did, that was hot. So shout out to Kevin Hedge and my man, my little brother, DJ Beloved. Check him out, particularly on Mondays. He does the Galveston Groove situation, because you remember anybody who went to Galveston, so he did that. He was ripping it yesterday on Instagram, but that's on Instagram. So check him out on Instagram. Those are my shout outs. And if anybody has any business promotions or marketing that they need to do in the ImRealDvs marketing and promotions group, please feel free. That is what that group is for. Now, are we on a last name basis now? Oh, I would be careful with that. Oh, let me stay out of y'all business. But there's a conversation that, and you know, when you begin to have conversations with people, you find that you begin to have more conversations. Those topics tend to come up more often, you know. And as always, I was talking to a friend of mine. Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to figure out where exactly I want to start this conversation because there's a lot of stuff that I want to cover, and trying to get to all of it. This is actually, if for those of you who were here last week, you know that what we were talking about, I was talking about mostly women empowering or taking responsibility for the power that they have. I didn't get a whole bunch of people talking to me a whole lot as I expected. I expected to hear more from the women talking about their power. See, this is the thing with women in power. You've let men define you. And that to me is weird, that you have let something that comes from your body define who you are. So in that vein, I began to think further along that same line of thought. And I don't without trying to, because I didn't intend to go back to this subject at all, but a friend of mine brought it up. And since we're here. So the latest thing, no, I don't know the latest thing because I don't keep up with that. But a friend of mine, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he brought up, and I'm going to need help with this. I should have done this before I did this. But Dwayne Wade's daughter, I'm going to call her Z, because I don't know if it's Zara or Zaya. I'm going to call her Z. What's up, Eddie Moo? Monica White, what's up? Brought up Zaya. Brought up Z. I'm going to call her Z because I don't want to mess up her name. Z Wade. And this friend of mine, he's a father. He has 3 children, I think, and 1 on the way. He's about my age, in my age group. And he made a comment about Dwayne Wade's daughter, Zaya. There's a bunch of people that just laugh. So he made a comment about Zaya. And the comment was that this Boosie person, I think it's a Boosie person. I'm not familiar with these hip hop people. So if it's a Boosie person that made this comment and you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. Got on a live thing. And this is everybody's weapon now. Everybody who wants to be heard, you know, just like me right now, what I'm doing. But, you know, when you have power, when you have position, when you have the world's eyes on you, you might want to be careful with what you say, particularly when you're speaking against another celebrity. And not that it should be that type of wall, but there is this thought that you know what that's like. You know what it's like to be under that scrutiny. So why would you join that scrutiny? But that aside, this Boosie person thing said that, you know, Dwayne Wade, and I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it purposely because I don't give a fuck. Because I think first of all, if you don't have a kid who is transgender, I don't give a fuck what your opinion is. That's like me telling a woman what to do with her vagina. I don't have one. I should not be telling you what to do. Thank you, Tamara. Lil Boozy. That thing. I shouldn't be telling you what to do with yours. Because I don't know what it's like to have one. So that's not my realm to operate. That's not my realm to operate. So this Boosie thing went live and told Dwayne, you know, said about Dwayne Wade, you know, you shouldn't have did that. Yeah, Boosie you know why Boosie had a big problem with that? And I'm glad you said it. It's because Lil Boosie is not a real man. You know why? Because a real man knows that you do not judge somebody whose shoes you have not walked in. He might go, yeah, well, I'm a father. I got 1,000 kids by these other 1,001 women. Any of your kids transgender? And then we're going to even get away from that because, okay, parenting, there's some levels where parenting is just parenting. How about this? Just because, and there's a thin line here that I want y'all to, that I need y'all to walk with me on, because it's thin, and people gonna fall on one side or the other of this line. Excuse me, I'm getting a little tongue-tied, but at the same time, there is a responsibility that is placed obviously on parents. That goes without saying. Hey, Iris, there's a responsibility that's placed on parents. Now, this is one of the most sexist things you're going to hear me say. And that is, but it's just the truth that I witnessed. And that is, you said that whole topic is real touchy and you ain't touching it. Right. And that's the proper response for somebody who doesn't have a transgender kid. That's the proper response. So I appreciate that. Anything that you bring into here is yours. To mold, it's not yours in that it's your responsibility. It is not your burden. It is not a little you. It is not an extension of you. It's your responsibility. Now, y'all walking with me on this line? It's a responsibility when you bring somebody here. That person is not yours. They're not for you to, of course, now people may go, well, how do you not teach them things that that's what you're going to do as a parent. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. But as all of you know, and we have said many times on this show and other places that we've spoken and had conversations, it takes more to your perspective to create a well-rounded person. And I'm not sure that everybody is of that mindset. I want you to ask yourselves, particularly anybody who has parents, I want you to walk with me on this. Ask yourself this question. If you knew, and this is something that no parent can ever know, you can never know this, but if you knew somehow that you were raising a Barack Obama, what would you do differently? I would like a response in the comments if you would. What would you do differently than you are doing now? If you knew that the person who you are responsible for was going on to be the future leader of the free world for 8 years, would you change what you're doing? And if you pause longer than 10 seconds, you have a responsibility. That being said, when my friend talked about this boozy person and Dwayne Wade, and he said, Dwayne and Dwayne's wife, whose name escapes me at the moment, they were just doing it for publicity. She's an actress. He's famous. He's not just a basketball player. He's famous. Yeah, Schumacher. That's a different question. Maybe I should hold on until y'all catch up, because I think it's like a lag in the feed, and I'm just seeing you guys comment. So, yeah, let's backtrack a little. I want to stay with y'all. I want to hear what you guys have to say, and I'll bring it right back to that. What's up, Shelton? If you knew you were raising Barack Obama, what would change? Now, at the end of that, I said if you pause for more than 10 seconds. The reason I said that is because if you pause for more than 10 seconds, that means that you're having second thoughts about some of the stuff that you do as a parent. If you're having second thoughts about some of the stuff that you do as a parent, what's changed? Because the kid that you have in there could be that next that. Are you treating that child that you have in your responsibility like that next that? Are you treating that child like they could be the next president or the first black or the first whatever? Are you treating that child like that? Are you raising another Malcolm X? Are you raising another Martin Luther King? Are you raising another W.E.B. Du Bois? Are you raising another Booker T. Washington? Are you raising a Sojourner Truth? Are you raising another Shirley Chisholm? Yeah! But I don't think enough of us believe that. When you look at your children, I don't think enough of you know the greatness that your kids have. I don't think enough of us listen to our kids' dreams. We might listen to their stories. Do you listen to their dreams? I don't think enough of us encourage kids. And listen, again, we walk in thin lines here because there's a whole bunch of stuff. That's just the problem. Shamaka said, if you knew a lot, would probably, but what if you don't know any better? That's just it. When you have that responsibility and the amount of technology that we have today, I'm going to say, and anybody who don't like it, you can let me know in the comments. Anybody who does not take the time to find out what they can do better when it comes to that situation, you're lazy as a parent. How can you, and this isn't me trying to come for your neck, Tamara, but you said, I openly admit that you can do better, but in the same breath, I do my best. Please explain that more. I want to know more about what that means. So you're asking a parent to be a conscience. No, I'm not asking a parent to be a conscience. I'm asking a parent to think a little more. That's all. Don't be limited by your own thinking. When you have somebody else's thinking in your charge, those are two people's thinking that you have in your charge. And Marie, I'm glad you're here because I'm going to tell a story, or parts of it. Okay, so assalamu alaikum to you anyway, and to Janine Bates, assalamu alaikum. First of all, I hope all of you have seen the movie Inception. If you have not seen the movie Inception, you should see the movie Inception. Because that happens to you every day. And any friend of mine who's in here who's heard this already, you already know what I'm about to say. If that parent doesn't have dreams, they won't notice dreams. Well, if you have another person in your charge, it is your responsibility to find out what the fuck them dreams is. And maybe you should start dreaming if you're a parent. If you're a parent, you might need to start dreaming. You might need to go bigger than yourself because there's somebody else. And the one thing that's definitely greater than one is two. So if you're a parent, there's two of you. That's greater than you. You need to do more. I don't know why we think listen. I'm not asking anybody to double their effort. Please don't think that that's what I'm saying. I'm asking you to work smarter, not harder. Because once you start, should you be afraid? No, come on. Because you learn along the way. You see your children teach, and they teach you. Tamara, I'm sorry, let me do this right, because there are people who are going to see this on who are going to see this on YouTube and have no idea what to talk about. So Tamara Rough Rider Gary says, because I am learning along the way. You see my children teach me too. They check me and I don't know everything. That's very true. But see, the thing is, you are teachable. And like there was somebody else who was saying up here earlier, when you think you know already, when you're in that mindset that take away that mindset, I'm doing my best. That's the one thing I would like you to do. And stay with the mindset of, I can do better. And again, add on to that the mindset of, that doesn't mean that I'm doubling my effort. It means that I'm doing something more efficiently. Because this greater than one, and some of y'all in here know exactly where I got that from. Greater than one is two. So if this is only good, if this is what's working for me, I have to redouble my thinking effort at least. My consciousness effort. Because I have somebody else here to think about. Now, I mentioned the movie Inception. The reason I mentioned the movie Inception is because a lot of us don't... Let me get back up to the... Everybody life different. Of course everybody life different. Of course everybody life, and that's what makes it so beautiful. That's what makes it so beautiful. This is the one thing I would like you to remember. Shumaka Shuvan says, most parents are the same when it comes to their children's dreams and their children's future stability. Dreams go out the window sometimes. Aha. And then you end up with a lot of stilted adults, a lot of people who are stuck in a situation, a lot of people who are emotionally paused. And what good is that in society? Does that foster the creativity that we need right now that is driving the livelihood of this pandemic, because a lot of us wouldn't survive without the DJs and the actors and the musicians and the people who were going live. We would go insane sitting in our house in our minds with the people that we live with. We would go insane. It is that artistry, it is that creativity that has gotten us out of that. So if you don't foster that in a kid, where is it going to come from in the future? See, a lot of us forget that the thing has to start now. If you don't begin it now, where will it be for the future? And Tamara Rough Rider also says, motherhood has humbled me in ways I can't verbally describe. That's because it's a feeling. And that's the one thing I want everybody to get in touch with. Not because you should live in your feelings, but because you need to be in touch with your feelings. Hey, Mama. Hey, Inga. How are you guys? So we are talking about responsibility, and there's an idea that I want to get to, because a lot of people, a lot of us, I'm definitely not separate and apart from any of the things that I say ever. A lot of us don't give enough thought to what comes out of, and I'm saying this, and I know it seems like, why is he being so dramatic? No, I'm trying to be very deliberate, because you'll understand once you hear the complete thought. Once you say something and it's out of your mouth and it enters somebody else's head, you have completely lost control of the communication of that idea. You can continue to give context to the person until you are blue in the face. Once that idea gets through here, it's all the way out of your control. You can't control whether it is going to be the thing that you wanted it to be. You can't control whether the person is going to take it to go somewhere else. And how about this? There's also a part where that thing can take root in somebody's brain, and they may not even know that it took root in their brain. But it shapes the person that they become. And they don't even know why. If you've never seen, hey, Iris Fitzpatrick, how are you? So if you've never seen the movie Inception, I suggest you, it's out on Amazon Prime right now. Y'all know I'm doing my whole movie thing, learning things and looking at things and comparing things and, you know, things and things. But once that idea gets into someone's head, one, you can't get it back out. So when you're talking, you could be just randomly saying what's on your mind, and there's somebody who's listening, and they catch a part of what you're saying. And this happened to me, which is why I'm bringing this up. Just to tell you the story, I was at work. This is when I was working. I'm doing okay, Dorothea. Thank you for asking. When I was working, we had a cubicle set up at work. There were offices on the outer edges, you know, where the walls were, but everybody else in the middle of the floor had cubicles. So I was at one of these such cubicles, and there was a woman in the next cubicle. I was in a cubicle talking to someone. In the next cubicle, there was a woman, and she was talking to someone on the opposite side of her in another cubicle. And she mentioned something about, it was a gay comment she made. And I was sitting there, and she knew that I was sitting there, but I wasn't sure if she knew that that was a comment that I could take personally. I forget exactly what the comment was, whatever it was. So what I did, after she made the comment, listen, you might want to be careful about what you're saying, because you don't know who's listening and how what you're saying might affect them. Now, it ended up being a whole thing where we had to go to the directors and everything like that. But my point still stands. Once you say it and it gets across to somebody else, you then have no idea what that is going to become. Women, this happens all the time, and you see it in comic sketches where, you know, there's a man and a woman, they're walking down the street, and the guy says, oh, doesn't she look nice? But he's with a girl, and he says something to her. That stirs something in her. And that's just a small example. Can you imagine that on bigger scales? Just at your leisure, let your mind wander about how that can turn into a terrible situation. Because I had one friend, and I was with my friend. We were, you know, at an event, and I had to go, and I had driven, you know, I was with my friend, so we had come in the same car, but she had her husband's car. And she was like, yeah, well, why don't you take his car and just come back? I had already in my phone called the Uber because it's her husband's car. She said, oh, my husband never comes to these things. Get out of da. You sure? Cancel the Uber, take the truck. She calls me a few hours later. My husband is here. If that friend is in here, shut up. I said, you want me to come? No. He's going to come back later, but he's going to come at a certain time, so you have to be there before then. She's like, we were on the phone. She was like, I'm just going to tell him that you have the truck. No! That is the last thing you're going to do. See, listen, there's a whole bunch of things that you could do, but you cannot tell a married man that who had lent his wife his truck, that she went somewhere and let another man hold that truck. That's not something you can say. I don't care if you follow it up. Oh, he's gay. I don't give a fuck. Listen, no. And there will be no other time in the future, of their marriage where she would have been able to borrow his car where that would not have been in his head. Well, she gonna listen to something, yeah. You can't get an idea. You have to be careful what you say because you are not clear about how it is going to filter through somebody else's experiences. Even your own children. There are some things that, and I have one of my friends, she plays. Like she's very straightforward like me. But when it comes to her children, she's an excellent mother. Like all my friends are good mothers. Like their children are well-adjusted, smart, good citizens. They aren't, burdens on society. They do their thing. And one of my friends, she questioned, as all parents, there comes a part where, you find out if one of your kids might experiment or something, and you don't know if they experiment with the same sex or opposite sex or maybe both or whatever. And she was like, well, I don't care either way. I would just like to know. Okay, I get that. But listen, that's none of your business. Your son is over 18. It's just none of your business right now. So, we had these conversations because as a mother, I know that can be a thing. Like, you just want to make sure that your kids is all right. So you just be like, I just want to know. And listen, that's none of your business. But at the same time, my friend jokes a lot. And every now and then she makes jokes. And I'm like, that's not. She'd be like, but I'm joking. Yeah, but you can't. Like, no. Because regardless, you can put a ha-ha or a LOL at the end of it. It's still the same sentiment. And once you don't know what other experience. Now, again, her kid is an adult now. So he's had experiences outside of the home that that she knows nothing about, has no clue. He could have been walking with a friend and it could be platonic. And just because of maybe they were whatever, anything could have happened. Somebody could have said something to them for whatever reason, and now he has a complex about it. And now all of a sudden, you in here making jokes, and now the whole world is against me. And now I can't even come home and be safe. Yeah, Ma, I know you love me, but at the same time, you in here making these jokes, and every time you say something like that, now I gotta feel like that. You don't know how it's gonna filter through your kids' experiences because nobody knows their experiences but them. You don't know how what you're saying gonna filter through anybody's experiences. Which is why you should spend your words like you spend money. I say this all the time. If you see it somewhere in this hashtag, spend your words like you spend your money. Unless you're one of those people out here throwing, and those are the type of idiots that, we got to put them on the island and, send the bomb. But you really have to be careful saying stuff. Because once that idea gets into somebody's head, you have no control over how it's gonna go. And again, like I said, often they don't either. Like, I just realized this. I was thinking about this the other day. I've always had this notion of this it's not a notion. I like to tell the truth. I'm upfront. I like to tell people what it is. I like to deal with, because to me that just keeps people reality up front. People are better able to make a good choice if I'm giving them the whole truth, and I'm better able to make a good choice if you're giving me the whole truth. That's just the way that I operate. To me, the way that we operate is so surface, which is why we can't get anything done. We have put all these obstacles in our own way that mean nothing. A lot of the stuff that we deal with every day just means absolutely nothing. It's so weird to me now. Like looking back at the stuff that we just, I call them arbitrary constructs. Anytime you hear me say arbitrary construct, it means it's some bullshit that we've put up that don't mean shit. Figure out what's arbitrary. But I've always had this, to me it was like that was my code. If there were, I never thought of it like that until now, just now really, but it was always, I got to tell the truth. I have to tell the truth. And somewhere along the line, I began telling myself the narrative, and I'm not even sure where the fuck this came from, honestly. I began telling myself the narrative that was how my mother raised us. Like, she raised us to be honest, right? So, as I got older and began to spend more time with my mom, because, you know, a typical urban single parent, yada. And when I got older and I noticed my mother do certain things, I'm like, well, why are you doing that? Like, that's not an honest situation to me. Like, and it became a source of contention until I had to ask myself, have you ever heard her? Like, have I ever really heard my mother push that narrative? And not so much as I pushed it. And I was like, well, why did I push my own that? Like, why did I put, why was it so important for me to put, hey, Joy. Just Joy in the building, baby. Boom, boom, boom. I wish I had some bombs to go off, but, you know, it's just me at home during the pandemic. Chilling. Hey, Joy. She just came in the room. So, I was trying to think of where I got this narrative from. And a relative of mine who's passed away popped into my head just real weird, like, and it was like, there's this one, you know, I've never been inside anybody else's head. I can only tell you how mine works. So they're like gifts in my brain, like these little short movie clips that happen. And I have this little gif of him, and he said he was going to the store for something. As I was maybe about 6 years old when this particular incident happened. It's a real situation. It's a memory. That's what we call it. But I'm describing it as a GIF. The GIFs that, you know, we post on social media now. So I remember him saying, I'm going to the store to get, you know, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, as a little kid, I didn't know what. My idea of what he was talking about was something different than what he was saying. As we know, the double entendres, we use double meaning words all the time. But now that I'm older and I know what the fuck he was talking about, I'm like, that was a really honest thing for him to say in the presence of a kid. It was like, regardless of whether the kid is here, and considering who he was talking to, like he was talking to, I think, either my mother or one of her sisters, which would have been his first cousins. What's up, DJ Beloved, my little brother, sound like Mike. Your show is the bomb on Instagram. Make sure you put that link in the comments. But the person that he was talking to would have been like his older person, somebody that definitely, you know, you don't want to, particularly he's the generation before me. So even my generation, you know, there's certain things you don't say to your older cousins. Like, I'm not going to tell you I'm about to go dip off and do X, Y, and Z unless I know you do it too. And the people that he was talking to, I know they didn't do what he was suggesting. It was a drug-related thing. It's like, now that I know what he was going to the store to get, I'm like, that was a really honest thing for him to say, is what I'm getting at. So if you're watching, you're like, I know I take the long way around with stories sometimes. I think context is interesting. But in that moment, I think that summed up the idea that got locked into my head. Not because he was talking, because he wasn't even talking to me. It was just the fact that I happened to be around, and what I came to understood he was doing in that moment was being the most honest person that he could be. And there was something in me that admired that, I think, so much. So that I have pushed this narrative in myself of not trying, because I, to the best, in any situation that I am completely able to, I'm going to tell you the truth, whether it hurts your feelings, whether you don't like it, whether it is something that people have told you 1,000 times. I don't give a shit. I'm going to tell you the truth. Why? Because I think it's worth it. 2, because it's what I want done to me. I don't ever want anybody to feel like they need to tell me something that's not true. I don't get offended over the truth. Always tell me, I get offended when you think that I can't handle the truth. I get offended when you belittle my intelligence by obfuscating the details of something that I obviously need. I get offended when you belittle me with anything that isn't the truth. That's the only time I'm offended. I don't get offended when if you could, somebody like, okay, and I'm going to use Beloved as an example real quick because he's here. So me and my little brother, Beloved, there was a post, and this post, I swear to God, it was so funny. This kid in this post looked like him when I first met him. Like, they just look so, like, physically, like the features just look like him. But the kid was sticking the Q-tip in his ear, so his eye was kind of like that. And anybody, did I do that right? I don't know. I can't do it. But anyway, so the kid was doing obfuscate. Did I say that? I'm working on myself. So the kid was sticking the Q-tip in his ear, and then his ear went like that. And he also had gap teeth. And when I met Beloved, y'all know Beloved. So I was laughing about it, and I tagged Beloved in the thing. And then he said something, and I almost took it personal. It was like, no, I'm not taking it personal, because for one, I don't know if he's talking to me, but 2, even if he is, it's the truth. Like, he was like, yeah, okay, so let me tell you what it was. So I tagged Beloved in it, and he thought I was talking about the thing with the kid with the cross eye thing, because DJ Beloved got the lazy eye. So I was like, no, that's not why. It was actually the gap in his teeth that reminded me of Beloved as a little kid. And Beloved was like, yeah, well, at least I'm not one of the people who got one of the messed up bodies or something like that. And I was like, okay, but I just lost 100 pounds. But see, I took it personally. He wasn't talking to me, but he could have been talking to me. But either way, even if he was, like, really, like, the truth is not something that I'm going to waste time. And, things take time. So I just took it as, okay, it's gym time. Which was greatly motivating. So thank you, DJ Beloved. I appreciate that. Because I got the shit here, but, waiting for the weather to break so that I'm not in as much pain. Tamara, don't laugh. Don't get down with my foolishness. It's really not. Don't do that. That's why you shouldn't be here. So I say all that to say, when you're relaying information, we can be a lot more responsible with the information that we are relaying, because you don't know. You can plan as much as you want to the right words to say. Good luck with that. I don't know if planning the right words ever worked. I don't know if planning the right words ever softened the blow. I know for me, telling me the truth up front and as concisely as possible is usually the best way for me to get a message. Just the way that I understand shit. Real short and real true. And we good. Like that. Like, that works for me. How that relates to where we came in talking about responsibility. When you are in charge of other people, it is a responsibility. And the reason why I said that this is a continuation from last week when we were talking about women taking their power back is because I'm trying to bring all these threads together, because there's been a whole lot of stuff that we've talked about, particularly from last week to this. So trying to tie these 2 episodes together, I really would like and would hope that by the end of this, if there's anything that I would like you to understand, it is that as a society, we have a lot of things backwards. This should be, I think women should lead a lot of stuff that men have their hands on. I think, they are less likely to do damaging things, violently damaging things. Women do a different type of damage. Women are more emotionally and mentally damaging. Men just take our hands and we take that type of shit. So I like to begin people to think about how we can begin to change your own personal narrative when it comes to what it is you believe about the personal power that you have as a person. Women, and we'll sew this together as we go along. Anybody who been watching these, we'll sew this together as we go along. More so, we'll tighten up this thread. But yet, I won't even. What I'll do is I'll continue with bringing this all together in that the responsibility. Once you leave the responsibility of just you, as a parent, as a person, as a friend, as a husband, as a anything, one of the primary ways that we interact is communication. Communication takes a lot of forms. There's verbal, which is the one that we use most, and there's physical, and there's sexual, and there's all these other ways of communication. But since we use verbal, no, any way that you communicate, because as I was sitting here thinking about it, you know, there are people who do things to use their bodies to try and get what they want and convey mixed messages, but you don't know how that's going to be taken and how somebody's going to take it in the end. You have to be you don't have to, I don't like saying have to. It's a responsibility to be mindful. It's just that. It's a responsibility to be mindful about who it is. Hey, Sajada. Who it is you're saying it to, why you're saying it to them, your intention behind it, and what are not to say that you should always worry about this, but it's worth finding out even after. Did you understand what I said? Tell it back to me. Oftentimes people repeat it back a whole different way than what you said. Because it's filtered through their experiences. Don't think that because you're a parent, you know what your child goes through. You have no idea. Once they leave your eyesight, you have no idea what's happening. They could be in the next room. You have no idea what's happening. They could be downstairs at Nana's. You have no idea what's happening. Upstairs at Auntie's. You have no idea what's happening. Next door at Uncle's. You don't have no idea what's happening. Down the street at the friends. You clearly have no idea what's happening. All of those places and people and things create experiences in your children that you know nothing about. It's shaping your children in ways. And you know, every now and then you look at your child and go, where did you get that from? A lot of times it's you, but sometimes it's not. And you need to know that once it leaves your mouth, once it leaves your intention, once it leaves your action, it's filtered through somebody else's experience. And part of that is your responsibility, not all of it, because some people like to misconstrue shit. Know that. It is some people get up in the morning, as soon as their feet hit the floor, they're like, what can I misunderstand today? Let me get on social media and find some shit to be angry about. Let me find some news that's going to make me hostile. If that's the way you live, fine. I'm not trying to make an indictment on your life. Just know that those people are out there. You don't have to be one of them. But you can also make the other choice. You can responsibly disseminate the information with a loving intention so that there are fewer discrepancies in the communications between us. Because in this really what like the people keep calling it perilous, these unsure, I like the unsure times, these perilous times, these weird times. No, it's not. It's different than you've ever experienced, yes. Nothing weird about this. This is what happens when people don't listen. I'm sorry. Laughter is inappropriate at this moment, but fuck it. This is what happens when people don't listen. You know? Tonight, I'm sorry. I was sitting here just before this show. It was so crazy. I was sitting here again with a friend of mine. And if you live in Irvington, New Jersey, maybe you heard it. If you did or didn't, let me know. There were about 30 shots. And it was like 30 shots with a gun, followed up by like 5 shotgun shots. I don't know what's happening. And I don't say that as part of the news. I say that as part of when people say that there are uncertain times. The only uncertain thing is fear. All of this is stuff that we've dealt with in history before. All of this is stuff that we've dealt with in society before. We know how to deal with it if we listen. If we behave responsibly. We can't believe that our wants are above the lives of somebody else. We have people who are coming to work who are risking their lives to serve us food, who are risking their lives for us to get candy and snacks and things like that. These people are risking their lives and their families' lives too. So again, I'm going to say this until all this is over. Please be mindful when you go out there to communicate some love, to communicate some compassion. What I do is I stand in line and loudly tell a story about how people are ridiculous when they argue with the tellers and the store people. I just, stand in line to find somebody to start telling the story to about, I was in the store before and these people were just acting up. It was crazy. I couldn't believe adults were acting like that. And, there was a woman today who was already you could hear her little grumbles and stuff. And so I started telling that story and she joined right in with the story and got right on script. Yeah, that's terrible. They shouldn't have did that. These people are, but you was about to do it. You have to take a moment to find out what you're going to put in somebody's mind. I've heard over, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to stop. For real, I promise. Over my career, I've always had like a white collar job. I worked with kids. I worked at, for the county. I worked with welfare clients. And one thing I found, you hear all the time, hey, listen, hey, Cindy, you hear people, forecast their own life. You hear them speak it all the time. Oh, well, I don't have nobody to, well, you keep talking about not having nobody, you ain't gonna have nobody. Oh, well, I can't get there. You keep talking about not being able to get there and you won't ever get there. Oh, I'm going to do it slowly but surely. Slowly but surely is the deadliest thing you can fucking tell yourself. That phrase aggravates my spirit. Because all it does is it's like pouring molasses on your life. Slowly but surely. That sounds like some old slave shit. Slowly but surely. Why not right now? Why can't we be better right now? Why can't we be better people right now? Why can't we be better intentioned right now? Why can't we communicate better right now? Why not? Why everything is slowly but surely? Everything don't have to be slowly but surely. There's some things that take time, yeah. But everything, particularly things that you can make a decision about and change tomorrow, ain't slowly but surely. That's you being a lazy individual and an irresponsible individual. And oftentimes that just comes from fear. We're afraid of the most, of the one thing that all people are going to die. Anything biological is going to die, but anything that exists is going to change. So get in line with the change. It's all right. It's not going to be as bad as you think, I promise. So I don't know what that oop is for. Catch it. There's a whole book. There's several. Lastly, I just want to, I'm going to tell this last story. Just to sew up what I said. About, parents having this responsibility when it comes to children. It's to the point that I can't drive home enough. Again, it's not a blame thing. Please don't. Parents, I'm gonna just take a moment of silence and just say thank you. Just y'all are wonderful. But also know that y'all made a decision to have a kid. Know that. So that being said, we're just gonna say that. And I'm gonna tell y'all the story and we gonna get out of here of a friend of mine. So obviously I'm a gay black man and many of my friends are gay black men. And I was talking to a friend of mine and he was telling me the story of the first time, because I ask weird questions sometimes. I do. I know I do. Because For the first time, I was telling a friend of mine this too, a different friend of mine than the one I'm about to tell you about. But I was telling another friend of mine, like, for the first time at this age in my life, this is the first time I feel safe in my own mind. It's the first time I feel like my mind is not trying to terrorize me. Like, I feel like I can walk around my mind like I walk around my house. Like, where ain't nobody else here, I could just take off every fucking thing and walk smooth around this bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Swinging. Fuck all that. That's how I feel like for the first time I could walk around in my mind. But, so I was talking to this friend, and he was telling me, obviously, a gay black man, he lives in Brooklyn, and he's my dude. I love this dude. He's my dude. So, he was telling me about the first time that he got his eyebrows arched today. I don't even know why I don't even know how I have a voice. I laughed so much at this man. So, what had happened was, he was supposed to be going to get a haircut, and him and his little friend from high school who went with him, she was going to get her eyebrows arched. Give me a second. So she said, do you want to get your eyebrows? Now, he got the haircut. So he didn't spend, his mother had given him money. He was in high school. I don't know what year. His mother had given him money. He went and got his haircut, and the little friend, the female that he's with, says, you know, I'm going to get my eyebrows arched. Do you want yours done? Of course he did. So he gets them done. Now, he told the lady, the little esthetician, I just want them shaped up. Like, don't fleek this situation. Now, this is 20 years ago, so he said to me that's what he said to the lady behind the thing, its place. And hey, Kendall, hey, Cynthia. And when she handed him back the mirror, like, he had arched eyebrows, like that. So now his parents were married, so he had to go home to his mom and dad, who lost their minds. And when I say they lost their minds, physically, he was, you know, he got a beating. He was telling me. And what he said to me, and this is the part that almost took me out of here. He said dinner time was such a trauma because every time I sat down, they had to look at my eyebrows. What about the fact that you had to look at the people who beat you? And I understand there's so many different ways that could have been handled. 20 years ago, as a parent, I think as a black parent in particular, he was the oldest child. He was their first child, the only boy. You know, there's a whole lot going on. So it was like, did she say, look a surprise, Dorothea, I'm coming to your house? Don't do that to me, Dorothea. We're here talking about he was looking surprised. But as a black man raising a black child, I know 20 years ago, that's terrifying. Still, it wasn't the 60s or anything like that, but still. Antonio said, I'm a different type of parent. Bang. But again, we were in high school. This was our parents' generation that, you know, this occurred with. You know, my friend is, you know, close to our age, but, you know, his parents obviously are closer to our parents' age. So when he said it, you know, he said it, and he's obviously, you know, he's okay with it now, or whatever, as okay as you can be with something like that happening. But as I've known this man, I want to say a good 15 years now. As I know him longer and hear more of these stories from him, it becomes, because when I first met him, I thought he was evil. Like, he's the type of person, like, when he's in a crowd, he can be very charismatic. But interpersonally, you know, back then, and mind you, this is a long time ago, so he's not the same person. He's grown up tremendously. Otherwise, he and I wouldn't even be friends. I tell him all the time how proud I am of him and, you know, the things that he does and everything like that. But it was just like, I see now why you were. And not to excuse any of it, because the person that he used to be, there's no excuse for any of that. But I understand how you can turn into that without even knowing that that's what you are. You may not even know that that's what you are, because that once that seed gets implanted, like, there's so many ideas in him that I want him to work or see the other side of. Let me not, because I have to work on, sometimes I can be a little controlling and want to try to help people see something better. And I know that about myself. So I try to stay on top of that and beware of the fact that there's another, and just not try to make people, but let them know that there's another way that you can see that entire experience. It does not have to be the thing that you've cemented in your head all this time. Antonia Hamilton says, I think I'm Freddie's mother from a different world. They came through me and are free. Oh my God, that is amazing. I like that. A lot of people don't have that. They think that their children are an extension of them, or that they're mini me's. I see a lot of that. You can see a lot of that in social media. There are people who think that I even had one. I've been having a lot of conversations, but I'm so grateful because I'm able to convey them with y'all. And one person I was talking to today was talking about a person who their child is like an accessory. If they don't have on anything that the child can bring out, then they don't have the child with them. And the child is getting older and is noticing that. And now the child don't want to be with the mom. The child wants to be with, other family members. And it's always like, well, I'm going over this house, or I want to go there, and I want to go here, because your mother wears you like a pocketbook. We have such an opportunity to do better. You may be raising someone with the intelligence, the magnitude, the aptitude of a Barack Obama, of a Shirley Chisholm, who was the first Black woman to run for president. We have these children who run the streets and stuff. That's who they are. It's the same ones. It takes you and me and anybody else who you tag in this video to let them know. Sometimes they don't even know who they are. It's up to us. We got to let them know. Antonia says, I call my daughter my mini me only because she looks alike. Okay, but she has a life, and I would die for her at her age. She is killing the game. I see you, so I can only imagine the amazing human that you have out here running loose in the streets. So yeah, but I want you to know that go look at your children. When your children get up tomorrow, if you are a parent who is working from home, or even if you're an essential worker, or if you're back to work, if you have kids, tomorrow, when you see your kids, if they're already in the bed tonight, because hopefully they are, look at them like they're the next Barack Obama. Treat them like that. Let them know that that's who they can be, that that's what they have in them. That's their DNA. That's what they're made from. They're cut from that cloth. Don't try to impose what you want. We gonna get into, I'm gonna have to do a whole nother show on imposing y'all fears and y'all failures on your kids. But just for tonight, so that I don't go into another subject right now and have y'all here for another hour, we are going to say, be mindful. That kid has the potential to rule the world, not run it, not be in it, to rule the world. Here's one thing I want you to do if you're a parent. Let your children find out what they like. And let your children find out what they are good at. They're not the same thing all the time. They may be, and that's a blessing if they are, so it may be a wonderful thing. But if they're not, let them know that it's okay. Even if it don't fit your mold of the way that they should make money in the world. There are people out here making money in ways right now that are not illegal and that are very creative. And we need that right now. Half of y'all retweeting or reposting DJs and singers and all the rest of this, that's artistry and creativity. Where do you think it's going to come from again? It can come out of your house. Let them experiment with some stuff. Don't make them stick with something all the time if they don't like it. Maybe one thing. There should be one thing that's marketable, but it should not be that, because it should not be a punishment. Know that sometimes the way that you make something look will determine how the kid receives it. Stop making things like doing the dishes seem like a punishment. You heard me. Tell them the winner gets to do the dishes. Try something like that. But y'all have already instilled that backwards other shit. Right? Tell them it's a privilege to do the lawn. It's a privilege to mop these floors. It's a privilege to sweep up in here. Who gets the privilege of doing the bathroom this week? Because you're the one who gets to decorate it as well. You get to pick the color scheme. We're going to go down to the store. We're going to pick out all new shower curtains and we're going to get some new mats because you're cleaning the bathroom, so you get to pick out the color scheme. Talk to your kids different. If your kids are smarter than you, stop fucking. If you can't figure out how to turn that around and get that information to your kids in a different way that is beneficial and is going to make it seem like everything that it is that you're trying to teach them is beneficial to them, stop fucking. You should not be loose out here without a condom. Stop fucking. Aprella, we are discussing responsibility, sweetie. Hey. And I encourage you to go back and watch the video. I'm a little parched, which is why y'all see me constantly applying chapstick to my lips. In addition to the fact that I'm drinking this tea, which is racked with sugar to keep me up at this time of night. And it's still warm. Oh my God, I love that cup. But I'm about to get out of here. Please share the video. Please share the video. Please, if you have not already done so, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's ImRealDvs on YouTube. And anything that you agree with, please put it in the comment. I would love to know your information. If you can identify with anything that I'm talking about, put it in the comments. If you hate everything that I say, that's cool. But tell me why and put it in the comments. If you think this is utter shit and trash, tell me why and put it in the comments. But whatever you do, like the video, because you watched it and you hear me saying this, and then tell me why in the comments. So thank you so very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Shumaka. Appreciate you so much. You got to go back and watch now. Rashetta, I'm so glad to see you in here. I'm glad that you're doing better, that you are well enough to come in here and join us. Aprella says she's not fucking now. That's so much information. I feel so much closer to you now, Aprella. So I'm about to get out of here because I need to go to bed. I'm tired. I've been out and preparing for this because, believe it or not, this is a lot of stuff to think about. Like trying to put these conversations together and have this information ready for you. Listen, it requires me sometimes listening to people about stuff that I don't want to listen to and talk about, but that's all right. We gonna make it. I'm here for the people. Aprella says that they're 26 and 11. You done? Yeah, that's what you think. They're coming back, especially that 11-year-old. They ain't finished. That's what you got. But we here for you because we the village. You know what I mean? So I am about to get it. I'm out. I need notes because you know I'm old. Again, is there anybody birthday who I'm missing? Nobody that I can think of. All my May people. Oh, my wife, my work wife. Somebody tag her. She been ignoring me on social media. Keisha Fleming, Queen of Shoes, on Facebook. Happy birthday! Your birthday is in a few days. Happy birthday, beautiful! I'm loving the May Madness on Instagram. She's absolutely stunning, as always. She's my work wife. You know how I do. So I'm about to get out of here. I'm trying to. I'm making sure I don't. I'm trying to make sure that I don't forget anything. Yeah, I think that's it. So I'm Real Devious. I thank you all so much for watching. Please share this video with one person you know who might have kids and, could use a little bit of help. It's not about, trying to tell people what to do with their kids. It's about offering them some more options about parenting, because it doesn't come with a manual, and we're here. And this is another thing I would like people, particularly with parents, to think about. Keep a person in your life who likes kids but does not have kids. That is going to be, and make sure that they are an honest person and is not, and don't create a relationship where there is tension about you talking with, or them talking to you about something wrong with your kids. Leave that door open. Make sure it's respectful, of course, but leave that door open so that somebody can say something to you, because your kids are people. And one day there's going to come something that you don't want to hear, but you want to hear it from somebody who you know has your best interest at heart, loves you, loves your children, and cares about what is happening with you and your family. That's what you want to put in place. So make sure that your village is that well-rounded. Don't think, oh, I got to have all these people with other kids. Yes, definitely, because your kids are going to need people to identify with, but so do you. And you need people to see the other side of some shit that you don't see and your other little parent friends don't see, because sometimes, we get the tunnel vision. So, make sure your village is fortified. Like Atiba with her village, and she cancer free, y'all. And that's my baby, Atiba. Yeah, Atiba. Cancer free. Yeah, Atiba. Cancer free. Yeah, Atiba. I finally got the rhythm. You see how long that took me? I'm going to bed. I'm getting out of here. I ain't playing with y'all no more. I'm Real Devious, y'all. It's been a blast. I had a wonderful, wonderful time, but I'm about to get out of here. So as y'all walk through this journey that we call life, regardless of what's going on out here in the world, if you should so happen to stumble along the way, remember that the harder you fall, the higher you bounce. Remember that when you're tripping. I'm Real Devious. So